Hello, today I'm going to be doing a video on my HayDay routine, but I'm going to try to do it a little differently from the others, and rather than just showing the whole routine in one take, I'm going to edit out the more mundane parts, like, you guys already know how collecting bacon works, so things like that I'm going to edit out, and the parts that I'm going to keep in are the parts that I think could be used as tips and tricks to help others throughout their HayDay routine. So really trying to stay to the point here. So the very first thing that I check is my Roadside Shop, because I want to collect all the coins that I can and also free up as much space as I can, because I know that I'm going to be selling items. If you saw my previous video, my first one, I said to keep your machines always running, and if you are doing that, then you are going to have items. So after I've gotten all my items in the shop, there's not many here because it hasn't been a full, even 12 hours since I last played, but hey, making some sales. So what I like to do is collect all the items from the machines before putting any more in. And the reason I do this is to make it a little easier to think about, so I don't have to, jump from machine to machine and be like, oh, did I put any in here yet? Or, oh, did I put any in here? Because I like to completely fill the slots if I can. And you should too, it's important too. And one thing I like to keep in mind is to plant crops right after harvesting them and before making any animal feed or sugar products, because if you don't, you may run the risk of running out of that. So I've just discovered that I'm low on sugar cane, so I'm just gonna have to wait 30 minutes for this to grow before I can even make any sugar products, because I did slip up and messed up in the management and I'm low on sugar cane. And one thing that I do try to do is plant my crops evenly amongst all my fields. I've seen people who plant just soybean or just sugarcane or just cotton or something, or just indigo, that's a popular one, on 100% of their crops. This isn't something I like to do because you can run out of resources, and I do realize that you can buy resources in the newspaper, but it is kind of hard to find resources in the newspaper sometimes, and if you do find some, they're probably sold out, like this potato here. And right after collecting the milk, I like to make cheese and milk products, because I don't want to accidentally feed too much milk to my cats. My cats I'm willing to not feed if it means getting all the dairy products that I need to manage my farm. And for making animal feed, I try to make them in the quantity that I need them. So I usually do this back and forth pattern here, and then I don't need much goat feed because I already have so much goat milk, or I had more. I had like 24 but sold it, but I don't need much. And another thing I make sure to do is right after chopping down trees, I like to replant them, and this ensures that I have the same amount of trees in one species at all times, or bush. And here's an example of just a bad deal. Bye. Also, try to avoid these guys. Sometimes they'll buy wheat from you for an insane price, and sometimes they'll try to buy us off for you for a ridiculously rip-off price. So you never know with those guys, but usually it's a bad deal, so I always say no, usually. Now these boxes, if you don't already know, every day there's going to be one on your farm, one on someone else's farm, a random player either from the newspaper or from your friends list. And there's also going to be a treasure chest in your town and a random person or a friend's town as well, so you can get 4 rewards a day. That was only coins, but coins are coins. So regarding the mine, I usually try to use these top 2, the TNT and the dynamite, before using my pickaxe and shovel, because the pickaxe can give more and they're more valuable, and if a neighbor needs pickaxes, I can have some. In fact, my neighbor helped me out. Let's see if I can help out a neighbor. But yeah, a neighbor might need some pickaxes, so I try to only use these more abundant materials when mining. And a big tip on these ores because I'm seeing a lot of them in the newspaper, and I mean that's okay, but you can avoid that and you can actually make more profit, because that is somewhat of a waste, because ores are not as valuable as a full bar. For example, 3 silver ore is not as valuable as a silver bar because the time makes it more valuable, the 7 hours. So what I would recommend is only mine as you need. So it's okay to have these materials still sitting here because they're there and they're in your barn, and using them will not even free up barn space because one of these equals 3 ores or more. So after managing the farm, I like to go over to the fishing area next. And first, I throw some stuff in the net maker. I usually try to keep an inventory of at all times of 2 duck traps, 2 lobster traps, and 2 or more fishing nets. These are going to be ready in 2 hours, but the lobsters are ready. And after the fishing area, I like to go right to the town. And after collecting all the rewards from everybody, I like to sift through the new people and I see if they have an item I already have, and I kind of see if it's worth it, and I wouldn't say that's worth it. And sometimes you get lucky and the majority of them ask for something you already have, and sometimes you're pretty unlucky, and that's me today. Don't forget to feed your sanctuary animals. And the very last thing that I do is I start putting items into these machines, but before I do that, I go see Greg's farm and I see what I can get from there, because sometimes these items will help you in your machines. Maybe you're short on something and that was just what you needed. So just a quick PSA, this is a terrible deal and I don't understand why the game has these people giving these horrible deals, because that was 22 for 677, but it's worth way more, as you can see. 400 for 10. Come on. And when I get this warning, I usually hit X, but if it's for wheat, I hit the check mark, knowing that there's probably going to be some wheat in the paper. And adding on to what I said about the mine, rather than just selling the bars, it's even better if you come over here to the jewelry shop and just wait a little longer to make some jewelry, and that's the best way to get the bang for your buck, because these are semi-rare items and you're spending them on these ores, and if you're just selling ores, then it's somewhat of a waste of these somewhat rare items. And I do kind of just feed my pets along the way. I have them somewhat strategically placed in areas where I'm already going to be, like near some machines, next to the barn, in the backyard, which is next to some machines, and just lots of pets here. And I know that I said that the very final thing that I do is put things in the machines, but actually I completely forgot about the friends list and the exclamation mark help list. And this is the final thing that I do, and I go through and I look at what can I do with the leftover resources that I have. So I can do this one here, this one here, and there's an axe from the box on his farm. And I'll be completely honest, I usually don't go into the town to help people. Not saying that you shouldn't, I just am somewhat lazy, and all the loading screens, I don't want to deal with them. I know it is somewhat of a first world problem. And after helping everybody that I can, that's the routine, and I wait a few hours, usually 6 to 12 to more. Oh, this just happened. Is there an update going on? No. Or less if I'm having a really boring day. But yeah, I hope this video helped someone in some way, and if it did, leave a like. If it didn't, and you still enjoyed the video, leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. We'll be posting HayDay videos frequently. Thank you.